Rachel here from Forge Le Femme, getting ready to mix up some yaki. Yaki is a Japanese heat treating method. This is my yaki powder I made a few lives ago. It's been a while since I've been live. And I'm going to be mixing some up tonight. And I'm going to be painting it on my blade. But before we get too far, it's time to light up a cigar, I think. Okay, get some heat going in here. All right, let's start this off. Yeah, this is it. I've never actually done this before, so just gonna start with a bit of this yaki clay. And I gotta paint this blade. This is what I'm actually gonna be painting. Okay. Well, we'll say that's enough. Do I know if that's enough? Absolutely not, but we'll give it a shot for now. If there's too much water, I'll add more clay. So far, it's not even really muddy. Might need a little bit more. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely need more water. It's like, at this point, barely even damp. Let's see. And let's do all mess it. There we go. Yeah, I think I haven't been live in a little over a week or so. So this is almost like foreign territory. But I'll be back in the swing of things for sure. Yeah, there we go. That's starting to look more like the clay I am after. Getting there little by little. And stuff actually takes more water than I anticipated. Let's see. And only a little bit at a time, because you don't ever want to go full bore. I've done that on things like mixing my refractories for my forge. That was unfortunate, and yeah, ended up making way more than I needed. I didn't have any way to store it, unfortunately. Looking back, I probably could have dehydrated the water out of it. Probably would have worked. Okay, it's actually starting to look more like what I believe I'm supposed to have. And you just paint this on the blade. Just paint it on. And when it's painted on, it'll become a oxidizing, it'll stop oxidizing. There we go. The charcoal will be like a sacrificial lamb, so to speak. And that'll be what burns, actually it'll form like a CO2 jacket around the steel, so it will not burn any more carbon out of it. Let's say that's mixed. It can't be that extreme. We'll do a little bit more, throw it in there, and then we'll try that much. Might be able to add a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to, though. I want it to be kind of like a slurry viscosity. I made this with ash from the charcoal grill, and then fire brick that I ground up. And what was that third ingredient? Was it wood ash? Oh, and then just charcoal, ground charcoal. So this is gonna be pretty cool to give this a solid run. I gotta turn on my kiln. What are you gonna run? Come on. Let's turn this up. See if we can get this guy up to 1500. Actually, I threw like 400. Okay, I'm just gonna let that go for a little bit. These heat treat ovens, the way that they have these set up, you need like a college degree to operate these things. It's ridiculous. I don't know who came up with that idea on how to run these things, but you guys, what were you thinking? Okay, anyway, so time to start getting the yaki clay on here. What is going on? Why is this thing is acting like it's almost acting like it's not very like clay. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're gonna put it on here anyway. So yaki on one side going on. You don't have to go too thick, as I understand it. Like 2 coats, 1 to 2 coats max. And so far we got 1 coat going on. This might be a little thick actually. It's actually my first time doing it as well, so bear with me. We're all learning in this together. Depending on how well this layer goes on, this could actually encourage a hamon to happen. A hamon, if you've ever seen those really cool samurai swords, and they have like that squiggly line down the blade, that is, if it's real, a real hamon, but it's also put on there in a fake way. I don't know how they fake it, but it's a pretty cool thing you could bring out with a really nice polishing. Okay. Let me see if I can put this in there. Oh, I don't think it's started yet. Maybe it started. Oh boy, this thing is always so frustrating to run. Now you're on, right? You're gonna start? No, of course not. Okay. Okay, maybe not. So, since that's being difficult, I'm gonna break it on with a blowtorch. That's the saying, desperate times call for desperate measures. Okay, I'm gonna let that cool down. Let's see where this will go. Yep, that's where we're at right now. Let me see. You know, it is what it is. We'll just let this critter sit, let it cool down, and when it cools down, I will be able to flip it over and then paint another layer on the other side. Let me see. It shouldn't actually be all. Yeah, it's warm enough to not touch, I'll say that. But it was, originally it was this stuff right here. Now it's kind of like a light gray, if you will. That's the first coating of the yaki. And then the next coating will be coming up here before too long. And I wish I could figure out how to run my kiln. I gotta read all about it all over again. That thing is quite the elaborate process. I wish you could just like set it to a temperature and hit go. No, it doesn't operate that way. It's I don't know why they operate that way. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, in fact. All right. All right. I'll just hold it. I'll paint it on this way. You know, they say the good old-fashioned way. It's actually a little bit warm. You can see, I don't know if you can see. Oh yeah, you can see a little bit of the steam coming off. All right. And this, like I said, this will help with the oxidizing. The carbon in there, the charcoal, will cause a carbon dioxide jacket around the blade as it burns off in the heat. It's like a sacrificial lamb, if you will. And that will help with the heat treating process and not remove more carbon. Yep, this is it. This is all you do for yaki. You just get it all the way on every surface that you can. And I'm actually going to do 2 layers. So this is the first one right here. Then after this is on, I'll get a second one on. Some will say that's too much, but it's all trial and error. You gotta figure out what works for you. All right. So back to the torch. All right, layer 1 done. And then, after that is done, I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to paint the other side again. Now I got to mix this stuff up. It gets all clumped up, and as I'm stirring it up, it gets all clumped up in here. And it, like, I don't know, like I kind of can't get it out of my paintbrush. And this is actually just a tiny little acid brush, which makes it funny, at least funny to me. And yeah, that's about where I'm at. Let's see how warm this is. Because I did have the torch on it. All right, we gotta pick it up and flip it. Let's try it. Yeah, okay, we'll be all right with that. Some would say, no need for 2, just the 1, that's plenty. And I don't know, I'm going with 2. Do I have to? Nah. You know, let's add a little bit more water in there. Stuff's kind of thickening up. I don't really know why, but in this brush, it's super duper thick. Okay, yeah, let's get some of that in there. This might actually work better for a second layer. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it might be. I mean, it's a little bit thinner, but it's definitely going to be a second coat on there. Okay, come on. And then you got to load up the brush again and mix this stuff around. Then get some more over here. Probably should have done it this way the first time. Oh well. You live, you learn. Even people on YouTube are just learning as we go. You might be able to see how it's turning that lighter color gray, and that's telling me that the water is evaporating out of it and it's becoming that hardened layer that I'm looking for. Got some yucky area on my face. Gotta let that cool down. A lot of moisture has made its way onto, or condensation maybe, is on the vise right now, so I'm gonna have to let that cool down. Might even have to wipe the vise off with the paper towel to get that condensation or moisture, whatever you want to call it, wiped up. It's 42 degrees in here tonight. It's chilly. It's like probably going to be I think it's probably going to be like the last cold snap of 2026 for this end of the 2025-2026 winter season. Although, April can have surprises. We have gotten, I think it was 14 inches of snow in April, back about 10 years ago, I think it was. Might have been 12. Yeah, I believe it was 14 inches of snow, and it was an April surprise. And then another winter, we got 8 inches of snow, and that was about 8 years ago. That was pretty wild, too. Let's see if this is cooled down. It's cooled down enough to do this. Just a quick flip. There we go. All right, now that I got this stuff all thinned out, I almost feel like I know what I'm doing now. Do I really, though? No, I'm still pretty clueless. I'm going to do a thin layer. First time I went quite thick. Or what I thought was quite thick. Was it really? I don't know. It's going to take some trial and error, to say the least. But hey, man. That's the fun part about learning, at least for me. Trial and error. You learn so much by just doing. Yes, you can just, read a lot of books and apply that. Excuse me. That does help. But just giving it a shot, just giving it a go, that also works. All right. Coat 2 is almost done. Trying to get it on the profile as well. And there is a material out there called, I believe it's ATP 641, that is commercially made. And the interesting thing about the commercially made stuff is the ingredients that are used at home that I made, or in my home, are right about on par with what they use. So it's pretty exciting that you can make at home what is made in industrial settings for industrial use. Let's break that down now. Okay, I'll do it again. I'm going to let that cool down a bit. What time is it? Oh, it is 9:10 Eastern time where I'm at. So I'm going to let this cool down a bit. And I might torch the other side again. And that'll be good, and it'll be ready for heat treat. I'm pretty excited about this. Actually, I am really excited about this. I don't know if you guys can tell because I'm not really showing it, but I am very excited about this, to put it lightly. Oh, let's turn that away. Let's try TikTok. I haven't been live there in a while. TikTok, the friendly, lovely TikTok. I get mad when I smoke cigars over there, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, let's see if we can get this to go. I'll just do that and just roll with it. see if I can get this brighter. There we go. Now we're cooking with bacon. All right, let's see. This thing is a little warm still. Wonder if I could smoke my tobacco pipe on here without them getting too upset. They can be kind of crazy about that. I don't know, TikTok's kind of a hater. All right, let's see. I'm gonna actually, let's just turn this a bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I'll just turn this a little bit more. There we go. So I gotta turn my Bowie knife. Here we go. You guys can see that is a Bowie knife. It's covered in yaki, but that is a Bowie knife nonetheless. We're gonna torch this. Looks like, is that a little bit light on there? Looks like it could be. Let's do a little bit. Yeah, that's right there. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Just a little extra bit right there. Oh, that blade is hot. Yep, I gotta paint on a whole bunch more again now. Mix up the slurry some more, and then just put it on the blade. Oh, starting to pull it off a little bit. Like I said, as I learn, you learn right along with me. This is, like I said, this is yaki, ancient Japanese method of, oh, I'm gonna have to let it cool down. Worry about it tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, that blade's pretty warm. Yeah, it is what it is. You live, you learn. You make mistakes, you learn from your mistakes, right? At least that's how I feel about it. Invite Alfonso Ribeiro. Carlton. Yeah, it's a bit hotter than I expected it to be. And I guess it should be hot. After all, I was running a dang torch on the thing. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. We'll have to call that good. And I'll just let the steam do its thing and the heat of the blade just evaporate off what little bit of water is there. Let's see. I'll take these gloves off. I want to get ready to go inside. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's pretty warm. To say the very least. Yep. This will be ready to normalize tomorrow, and then I'll finally get this thing drilled and set up for heat treat. And then we'll have ourselves a blade. We'll have ourselves an American Bowie made out of an American file, forged from a Nicholson file, from the Nicholson File Company. I believe they have been around about almost 150 years, if I recall. That's saying something today. Actually, who else? Zildjian. Zildjian is the longest operating American company, and Zildjian has been around, I believe, 400 years, and they are still owned by the Zildjian family. So the drummers out there, musicians, there's a fun fact for you. Zildjian cymbals have been owned for over 400 years by the Zildjian family, and they are the longest continuously operating company, I believe, in North America? Something like that. They have pretty cool history. And the founder of Zildjian cymbals was, if I recall, an alchemist. And he was an alchemist in Hungary. And the metal he made for symbols, if I recall, was accidental, the way he came across it. And I can't remember if it was the Prince of Hungary, or I believe it was a royal of Hungary that liked the sound it made. And I don't know if he suggested to make a symbol with it, but that is indeed what became of Zildjian symbols. Talk about cool family history. Peter Murgatroyd, how's it going? I'm just sitting here letting my Bowie knife that I just yaki-iried cool down. It's a little bit warm, so that's why I'm not touching it. It's probably a good 200 degrees right now. And yeah, I'm going to be heat treating this tomorrow. And this is an old ancient Japanese method called yaki-iri. And it will help to make a less oxidized blade, which is pretty exciting. All right, there we are. I am done. Adios. If I can figure out how to shut it off. Can I? There we go. All right, YouTubers, I am out of here. Peace. I can figure out how to shut it off.